Tired of the endless noise around Trump? You're not alone. Across America, from Milwaukee nurses to Phoenix teachers and Detroit retirees, people are feeling the fatigue and something deeper, a shift in the political ground. Lifelong conservatives are flipping, red state workers are booing, and it's not about ideology anymore, it's about survival. Rising costs, broken promises, and climate disasters are making politics personal. Here's a look at 10 US states turning on Trump, and why it's only getting worse. Utah, once the reddest of red states, is buzzing with discontent. Trump's approval is plummeting, especially among independents and the influential LDS community, who are tired of chaos and scandal. Utah's values, order, community, moral clarity, clash with Trump's brand of politics. Tariffs and trade wars have hit family budgets hard, with higher prices on everything from farm equipment to groceries. As one Provo hardware store owner put it, "We were promised relief, not receipts." The promise of MAGA was stability, but Utahns got unpredictability and economic pain. Even the state's conservative leaders are quietly rebelling. For Utah, this isn't just politics, it's a rejection of a culture that no longer fits. The GOP can't ignore the Beehive State's growing unrest. Utah's steady hand wants something Trump can't deliver. In Wisconsin, the heart of the Rust Belt, Trump's blue-collar promises have soured. Tariffs meant to protect jobs backfired, devastating dairy farmers and manufacturers. Exports tanked, factories closed, and overtime vanished, leaving workers feeling betrayed. "He went to war with trade and left us in the crossfire," said a Kenosha union leader. Swing voters in Milwaukee's suburbs are exhausted by the chaos. They wanted a fighter, not a saboteur. The red hats are gone, replaced by a sense of being swindled. In a state where margins are razor thin, this betrayal is a political earthquake. Wisconsin's populist experiment has left voters looking for real solutions. The cheeseheads are not happy, and that spells trouble for Trump. In Virginia, Trump's war on the deep state became a war on federal workers. Massive job cuts hit 320,000 people, scientists, analysts, and administrators, devastating communities in Northern Virginia. Protests erupted as families faced economic uncertainty and felt vilified by the administration. The cuts weren't seen as reform, but as a purge, creating fear and distrust in government agencies. The economic ripple threatened everything from housing to small businesses. For a state tied to federal stability, this was the final straw. Opposition solidified not just in D.C. suburbs, but statewide. Attacking the federal workforce meant attacking Virginia itself. The revolt here is a warning: undermine public servants and you lose the state. Virginia's backlash is now a blueprint for resistance. Nevada, built on tourism and hospitality, is feeling the pain of Trump's policies. Tourism is down, hotel and casino jobs are shrinking, and workers are struggling as costs rise. The chaos and uncertainty have scared off conventions and visitors. "We work harder for less while he posts memes," said a Las Vegas cocktail waitress, a quote that went viral. The powerful culinary union is leading the charge against stagnant wages and anti-union policies. In Nevada, organized labor can swing an election, and they're united in opposition. The gamble on Trump hasn't paid off. The House is losing, and so is Trump. Arizona's political landscape has shifted dramatically. Rising rents, energy prices, and a mega drought have left families squeezed and anxious. Trump's response to the water crisis and climate change? Dismissive, prioritizing deregulation over real solutions. Young, diverse voters are tuning out his culture wars, demanding action on issues that matter. Rural communities, once loyal, now feel abandoned. Promises broken, survival threatened. The sense of betrayal runs deep, especially outside the cities. Arizona's political heat is on, and Trump is getting burned. The Sun Corridor is no longer MAGA country. Disillusionment is the new reality. California's opposition to Trump is nothing new, but now it's exhaustion, not just anger. Wildfires fueled by climate change have devastated towns, and Trump's response, blame and threats, felt cruel. Insurance is unaffordable, agriculture is battered by trade wars, and the cost of living keeps climbing. Californians feel squeezed between a hostile federal government and overwhelmed state leaders. The state's role has shifted, from resistance hub to symbol of the era's cost. People are fighting for their homes, air, and future, not just against a politician. The fatigue is real, the opposition is weary, and the stakes are existential. California is a cautionary tale for both sides. The political emergency is constant. The Golden State is tired of being the nation's punching bag. North Carolina, a purple battleground, has turned against Trump after disaster struck. Hurricane Helen devastated the coast, but federal aid was slow and inadequate. The administration seemed more focused on rallies than recovery. NIH budget cuts hit the state's research economy, threatening jobs and innovation. Economic stagnation and slow rebuilding have left communities frustrated and angry. Swing voters in Charlotte and Raleigh suburbs expect competence in a crisis, and didn't get it. The political winds have shifted. North Carolina's patience has run out. Pennsylvania, once Trump's crown jewel, is now a hotbed of blue-collar resentment. Propane prices have soared, making winter a struggle for rural families. Trade wars closed plants and cost jobs. Steelworkers and miners are marching in protest. The sense of betrayal is personal. Promises made, promises broken. Once loyal supporters feel used and abandoned. The rallies are quieter, the magic is gone. Pennsylvania's working class is looking elsewhere. The state that put Trump in the White House could now bring him down. The keystone is crumbling. Michigan's auto industry, once promised a renaissance, has been rocked by Trump's tariffs. Supply chains broke down, costs soared, and jobs disappeared. The big three automakers cut shifts and workers faced layoffs. The United Auto Workers are leading a fierce backlash, highlighting the betrayal to members who once backed Trump. Swing voters in Detroit's suburbs are done gambling with their livelihoods. The engine of Trump's support has stalled. Michigan's manufacturing heart is looking for a new driver. The whiplash is real, and it's political. Vermont was never Trump country, but now it's the epicenter of resistance. Cuts to climate funding were seen as an attack on the state's identity and economy. Vermont's leaders are fighting back in court and with progressive policies. The state's culture, community, consensus, quiet dignity, stands in stark contrast to Trump's style. Vermont is a sanctuary for ideals under threat, a blueprint for resistance. Its role as moral and legal anchor for the opposition. The Green Mountain State is proof that resistance is more than a slogan, it's a way of life. From Utah to Michigan, the ground is shifting. This isn't just media spin. Millions are living the consequences of broken promises, economic pain, and climate crisis. The great unraveling of the MAGA coalition is real. Spectacle doesn't pay the rent. The 10 states we've covered are just the start of a broader wave of disillusionment. If this video opened your eyes, like, share, and subscribe for more. The political tides are shifting fast. This conversation belongs to you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're listening, and so is America.